It is time now for my top 10 cornerbacks in the NFL right now. This list, it's been pretty fun making because I feel like there's a lot of good cornerbacks right now that I felt like I've snubbed a couple guys off my list. I'm pretty sure they'd make others' list, but I think I've made a pretty good list that shows most of the best cornerbacks in the league as of right now. So let's get the list underway. At number 10, I have a newcomer to the NFL. Not a newcomer, but he's coming off a great rookie season. It's Jalen Ramsey. And Jalen Ramsey has, done great. He was picked up by the Jaguars last year in the draft. He did very well. He was, projected to do very well. People were surprised when the Cowboys didn't take him, and it was a perfect situation for the Jaguars to pick him up. They picked him up, and he has done great. I feel like he's only going to climb up and be higher on this list. I like him a lot here at corner at number 10, and I feel like he will only get better. At number 9, we have a guy who switched teams in the offseason last year and did very good for his new team and the New York Giants, and it's Janoris Jenkins. Janoris Jenkins had to live up to that contract, and I feel like he has. He has been able to. I feel like he's been able for people to name him one of the top 10 cornerbacks in the NFL. Like I said, he's done a pretty good job with the Giants' defense alongside Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. The Giants have a very good defense, and one of the reasons they have a very good defense is because of Janoris Jenkins. Next, another guy who also was on a new team last year, Josh Norman. Josh Norman went from the Panthers to the Redskins. At first, it was kind of like, Josh Norman should have stayed on the Panthers because the Panthers needed Josh Norman and Josh Norman needed the Panthers. But later on, Josh Norman got his things together, and he played well. He played well for the Redskins, and did a pretty good job overall. I think he more or less lived up to what the Redskins wanted to him later on in the season, and I feel like he can climb up this list, and he can only be better. Next, at number 7. I have Aqib Talib. Aqib Talib has been one of the best cornerbacks in the league for a while now. And one of the reasons, he's a part of a very good defense in the Broncos defense, He's a key piece to their defense, and, he does very well there. The Broncos defense has been one of the best in the last couple of years, and one of the reasons has been because of their very good secondary. And Aqib Talib's part of that secondary, and like I said, he's done a very good job. I don't really see him moving up much on this list. I think 7 is a good spot for him. That's a very good spot for now. You never know. He could move up, he could move down, but 7 is a good spot. Next, at number 6, I have Stephon Gilmore, who this offseason signed with a new team. The New England Patriots have Stephon Gilmore, which makes their secondary a lot better. He played on a Bills defense that was pretty good, and he stood out in that defense, and now he's going to be on a very good Patriots team, and he's going to be one of the best corners in the league. I think 6 is a good spot for him. I think he can move up on this list. I feel like there's a possibility he could switch spots with his teammate who is next on the list. It is Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler, ever since that interception in the Super Bowl, it's basically been a rocket that shot up, and has propelled, Malcolm Butler in his career. It's helped him a lot, and he's, lived up to all the hype. He's done a pretty good job at corner. I think 5's a good spot. He's the number 1 corner for the New England Patriots. I think that this is a good spot for him. Like I said, I can't see Stephon Gilmore leapfrogging him, but for the most part, I think 5 is a good spot for him. At number 4, we have a guy who's a part of a very good defense, and it's Marcus Peters. Now, the Chiefs' defense is one of the best in the league, and Marcus Peters is one of the reasons why. When you have, guys on very good defenses, they're going to stand out, and if you're on a good defense, you're going to stand out. And Marcus Peters is a part of a very good defense. I can see him moving up on the list a little bit. I like him here at 4. Like I said, it wasn't hard to rank him. I kind of knew where everybody needed to go. I think 4 is a good spot for him. I can see him moving up, though. I can. At number 3, we have Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes has done a pretty good job for the Minnesota Vikings. One of their best players on their defense. He probably will get paid a lot of money down the line within the next year. He's going to get paid a lot of money, and he's done a very good job at cornerback for the Vikings. He can only get better. I can actually see him, sliding in at 2 or 1. I think maybe next year he'll overtake one of those spots. At number 2, we have a guy who I personally don't like, but I have to kind of respect him, Richard Sherman. I don't like Richard Sherman. I think he's overrated, but most people are going to have him in this area anyway. For the most part, he has played like one of the best cornerbacks in the league. The only bad thing I have to say about him, well, I have multiple bad things to say about him, but he doesn't shadow the receiver. You got to shadow the number 1 receiver. You got to follow him. He's a guy who doesn't do it. Most good cornerbacks should be able to do that, but whatever. It is what it is. 2 is a good spot. Maybe next year someone will overtake his spot at number 2. And at number 1, the number 1 cornerback in the NFL right now, it is Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson has been one of the best cornerbacks in the league for a while. I think for some people he was in the top 5, but not at 1 just yet. I think in the last couple, 2 years, he has been able to be named the number 1 cornerback in all of football, and that's who I have at number 1. He's part of a very good defense, the no-fly zone. Seattle has the Legion of Boom. Arizona has the no-fly zone, and he is the leader. He's the captain of the no-fly zone.